going on, guys? Today we're going to be going over a couple trick concepts, the first being anti-springs and then later whirls. Alright, quickly to just clear up some semantics, we're going to be using a lot of terms like inside and outside of my hand. So for the purpose of this video, when I say the inside of my hand, I'm talking about the side facing my palm. And then when I'm talking about the outside of my hand, I'm talking about the back of my hand. And then I'm going to be calling a little concept called, I'm going to be calling a concept that I called in the past a half cab. I'm going to be calling that a pass. So in skateboarding, a half cab is doing a 180 from fakie to regular. And I mean, if you're a skateboarder or any other type of action sports person, you'll understand what I mean, but I think it can get lost in translation. So for the purpose of Begleri, I'm going to be calling it a pass, either going from fakie to regular or regular to fakie. Okay, so first up is anti-springs. So first, we know that a spring goes, the bead is coming toward you, and you wrap on the finger above the grip that you are in. You let go, perform a roll on that finger, catch fakie, and then either get out of fakie with another roll or do a pass back down to the original grip so you can repeat the motion. So an anti-spring is just, instead of wrapping toward you, you're going to wrap away from you and then unwrap toward you, and while it's unwrapping toward you, you're going to do a pass and essentially whip the bead around the finger that you're is above the grip. So there in mid grip, you're going to whip the bead around or pass the bead around the middle finger, and then if you do it in low grip, you're going to pass the bead around the ring finger. Okay, so the spring and anti-spring are going to help you get used to doing the pass motion, which is important for whirls. Another concept that is important for whirls is the weave. So a weave is when you allow the slipping bead to go as it's slipping from the inside of your hand, slip on the outside of your hand, and then come back. The way to do that is, as the bead is coming down in this arc, the upward, the bead is going to hit the lowest part of its swing, and then as it's coming up from the lowest part of the swing, you want to move your hand outward and let the bead fly over your hand, and then kind of repeat the same motion where the bead is going to do a full circle on the other side, and then as it hits the top of that full circle, you're going to pull your hand back into the regular position so that the weave will continue to go on the front of your hand. Like that. And I'll throw a slow-mo in right now. Okay, so now that we've gone over weaves and anti-springs, in which involve the pass, we're going to go over half whirls. So a half whirl is when you pass the bead from index and middle grip to fakie mid grip, which you're going to do by, on the outward downward swing, you're going to lift your ring finger or tuck your index and middle while pushing your ring finger as much as you can out of the way, because it's hard to see. I can't even stick it all the way out. You're going to tuck these fingers in and then let the string pass go past the finger into this gap. Let go of the index finger and hold the ring finger in place so this bead can slip into fakie mid grip. So in full speed, it's going to look something like that. So then that's just the first part. The second part of the half whirl, which is going to look like this, is adding a weave into that motion, so you can sort of readjust the momentum of the bead to allow you to then pass back up from fakie mid to index and middle grip. Okay, so as you're performing the pass, as the bead is now in fakie, you're going to do a weave and allow the flying bead to go outside of on the outside of your hand. And this is going to be a little knacky at first because it's now, you know, you kind of have to tilt your hand instead of tilting, you know, directly out like for a weave. You're going to kind of have to tilt it almost palm down like that to allow this, to make sure the string doesn't tangle in any of your fingers. Right? Once you come back to here, the string or the bead is now going to be coming up, and you can allow the bead to come back with an upward pass back to the normal grip, making the half whirl a repeatable motion. Okay, so the half whirl is also doable from low grip. You're going to do a pass from low grip to fakie mid, and then again, as the pass is happening, you're going to do the weave, but on this weave, you're going to, instead of like the index and middle grip one where you put kind of the palm down, you're going to kind of put the palm up, and the outside bead is still going, or the flying bead is still going to go on the outside of your hand, but it's kind of a little knacky motion where you are letting like the string almost kind of go off of your middle finger and then come back down. And then again, this is a manipulation of the momentum to allow you to kind of bring the bead right back to low grip. Okay, so once you can do half whirls, you're now ready to do full whirls. For a full whirl is going to look like that, where we start in index and middle grip, we pass into mid grip, fakie, do the weave, and then add on the outside swing, since the bead is coming up, you're going to tuck your pinky and drop to low grip before finishing the weave and coming back to the inside of your palm, right? So in full motion is going to look something like that. Now the hardest part of this, especially if you can half whirl, the hardest part is going to be getting into low grip from the outside. And now if you look at my fingers, I had trouble doing this because I used to extend my fingers all the way out, especially the pinky, through the whole thing. But if you look specifically at what my fingers do, pretty much as soon as I pass into fakie, my pinky just dips in, comes as close to my palm as possible. And now if you can't do this, don't worry, there are ways to practice that. And I could link a couple in the description. The pinky independence. So again, you perform the half whirl and then tuck the pinky as soon as you start it. And then on the outside swing, you're going to sort of tuck the middle finger to allow the bead to go up, or on the outside momentum, drop into low grip, and then you finish by coming back palm inside of your hand. And now for a whirl from low grip, it's the same thing, kind of. You do the half whirl, but then tuck your index finger in and come up to index and middle grip on the outside swing. This is a bit, probably a bit more visually helpful to learn, because you can watch where the string is on the bead at all times, whereas on the other full whirl, you can't really see what's happening on the outside of your hand. But on going up, you can watch where the string and bead is. So again, quickly, you pass the bead to mid fakie from low, you do the weave, and then as you're on the outside and upward kind of, or downward on this kind of swing of the bead, you tuck your ring, so you're kind of making this hand motion, and this will allow the bead to flop into index and middle grip, and then you finish the weave and come back to index and middle grip, like this. Okay, so if you have half whirls, anti-springs, and full whirls, and you're feeling real ambitious, you can learn the cattle prod. Cattle prod is a name I've been calling this little whirl variation where you whirl, wrap, you do a half whirl and then kind of wrap like an anti-spring, right? And if you don't know what a cattle prod is, it's kind of like a fork thing that people poke cattle with, and the way the beads are oriented here kind of remind me of that. That's why I call this a cattle prod. And then from here you unwrap and pass down to low grip. Okay, so once you have all those concepts down, it's time to put it all together. I'm gonna give you a quick little combo here to practice all of them together with. So you're gonna start in low grip, you're gonna push the bead out and do a low anti-spring, and then a full whirl up to index and middle grip. So that's the first part of the combo. And then once you're here, you're going to rebound off of your thumb or a 2-finger wrap or whichever way to change directions for you. And you're going to go straight into a cattle prod. So from the beginning, anti-spring, whirl, rebound, cattle prod, and then you're going to come down here and 2-finger roll immediately back up to index and middle grip right after the cattle prod. So cattle prod down to low, whoops, cattle prod down to low, 2-finger roll up, and then here you're going to rebound off your thumb again, whirl down to low, and you're done. All right, that's going to be it for this one, guys. Like always, you can leave a comment and I will try to help you out. Thanks for watching.